Hello everyone and welcome to D&D News. I am Greg Tito and I am here to say welcome everyone to the Dungeons & Dragons community. Pull up a mug. Drink some delicious coffee that will give you the energy, the life-giving elixir that will bring you this mid-afternoon buzz. In addition to all the fun Dungeons & Dragons stuff that I'm going to be talking about on this here session, we are getting ready for Dice Camera Action, episode 133. Like I clap to Dice Camera Action. Then 133 is coming. It is called The Sky is Falling, Part 1. It is going to be pretty fun. You can look forward to seeing Chris Perkins, Dungeon Master, with the Waffle Crew. Some of my most favorite people. Some of them are Jared Knabenbauer, Holly Conrad, Anna Prosser, Nathan Sharp. And they're going to be joined by two special guests today. You welcome Brooks Donahue returning as Sister Nare, as well as Vivid Vivka making her fantabulous return to Dice Camera Action as a character named Esvel, and not that other thing. Hi. How is everybody doing? I need a lot of coffee because my mind is mush right about now. I just got back from Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. I was at Gary Con this weekend. Shelly and I did some amazing interviews with creators of Dungeons & Dragons from back in the day. It was pretty fantastic to absorb all of that information and history and love of role-playing games from the people who essentially made them, birthed them into existence. As you know, I got to meet some amazing, fun folks from the Gygax family, connected again with Luke Gygax, who is the kind of organizer and creator behind GaryCon, as well as many of his sisters and brothers, and talked to some really fascinating people. Mike Carr was one of them. He was employee number 7 at TSR when they were creating Dungeons & Dragons. He holds the distinction of being 16 years old, going on 17, at the first Gen Con that was held in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, at the Horticultural Hall in the center of town there in Lake Geneva, which I also got to drive by and take a picture of, which was pretty cool. Yeah, he was a fascinating chap. Played a lot of war games, a lot of World War II fighter pilot games, one called Fight in the Skies, which is still being played. His game was actually the first game that was played at the first Gen Con. So very much in touch with the history of everything that is going on with our amazing hobby. Danielle, the artist, that was another kind of highlight for me. I don't know if you realize this, but she created the map of Greyhawk that appeared in the first folio for that setting. And interestingly enough, a friend of mine brought over some of his old modules from his day, from back in the day when he used to play when he was a kid. And one of those was the Greyhawk folio that had the map that Danielle had made, and it was fantastic just to be like, oh, she was just talking about this map, and then I could see it in the flesh. It still had like the staples having the rust stains in a lot of these modules. We also talked to David Cook, otherwise known as Zeb, the lead designer for second edition Dungeons & Dragons, as well as creator of some of the most fantabulous modules out there, including Isle of Dread, which has always been one of my favorites, and tons of other stuff. And he was a fantastic interview. And then, of course, Margaret Weiss, being able to pick her brain about what it was like creating Dragonlance, along with Tracy Hickman, and writing the books for all of that storyline, which was instrumental in bringing a lot of wonderful people into this D&D hobby. It was just overwhelming to feel all that history. And then I got to play lots of Dungeons & Dragons with some great folks that went through some stuff about Ghosts of Saltmarsh. Not necessarily content that's going to be in Ghosts of Saltmarsh, but an amazing adventure that was, I believe, created by Chris Lindsay with some input from Mike Merles about a salvage operation, something you could find and drop into any, seafaring or adventure or campaign that takes place on the coast, similar to Ghost of Saltmarsh. And so we got to play around, met some Sahuagin, which were quite terrifying to many of the folks in my groups. It was also kind of cool to be able to show them this cover, the one on the right and also the one on the left. Has not only amazing covers unto their own, but I used them as flavor for the encounters that people were getting involved in. So I think even that special alternate cover of the Sahuagin growling with its hands reaching out, that was what I used when a group of Sahuagin revealed themselves as attacking the ship that my players were on, and they were like, "Oh my god, that's so creepy and awful looking." And wait, it's a book and it's coming out? Yes, it is. It is coming out on May 21st. It is the amazing book that is. I'm getting to where all the details about this are. Oh yeah, so Ghost of Saltmarsh. It is an adventure on the high seas for so many fun things. Includes the iconic U series of adventures and some of the best nautical adventures from Dungeon Magazine over the years. So some of those adventures are The Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh, Salt Marsh, not Salt March. I do that wrong. Danger at Dunwater, Final Enemy, Salvage Operation, which is the one that I was describing, Isle of the Abbey, Tamarot's Fate, and The Styes. So tons of fun stuff in there. I didn't realize, actually, that as I was getting ready to run this, that it was actually a chapter that's in Saltmarsh. So clue to the folks who got to play through that, it is going to be part of that book, which was tons of fun. So, is that Lee saying he's going to pancake the cover? It was awesome seeing Lee Goldberg and Dan Cakes also at GaryCon. Thank you so much to those folks for being in the lobby Saturday morning, I think Friday morning too, where you guys were making pancakes, art for all of the fun folks in there. I extremely loved the smell of the delicious pancake batter cooking, but it smells even sweeter when it's a delicious beholder in there. It was tons of fun, and it was an overall just a wonderful experience. Lake Geneva is a beautiful town, on top of it being an incredibly historical site for anyone who's a Dungeons & Dragons fan. I highly suggest making a effort to get out to Lake Geneva at one time in your life if you consider yourself a fan here of Dungeons & Dragons, and GaryCon is a perfect excuse to do that. So jump in if you can. There is tons of interviews available on YouTube right now from me and Shelly talking to these amazing creators. So jump into those if you can. They're on the D&D YouTube page. And I'm sure a link will be incoming soon for that type of thing. We will be releasing some of those interviews in podcast form on Dragon Talk, and it should be tons of fun. Speaking of events, we've got lots of events coming up, including Emerald City Comic Con here in Seattle, Washington. I'm just going to call it Emerald City Comic Con from now on, because if I say ECCC, it's just like there's just too many C's involved in there. But because it is a destination for a lot of comic book creators, we're going to have a bunch, and artists in their own right, we're going to have a bunch of people entering here into the office, including Mr. Jim Zub, who is the writer of this book right here, which is Rick and Morty versus Dungeons & Dragons. You might remember this cover, since it was the first cover for issue number 1. That was everywhere. There were like 25 alternate covers, but I'll go through a little bit about all of these. You know what? Why don't I just do it right now? So those Rick and Morty first series of comics, they were written by Jim Zub and Patrick Rothfuss, with Troy Little as the artist, and these trade paperbacks are available. Now I'm going to make sure I tell you when they're available. I think it's tomorrow that they go on sale, but let me triple check for all of you. That is the case. How do I do it? Oh, that's what I do it. March 12th. So that's today. It's today you can get these. Isn't that amazing? There you go. It's happening. You can get these. Why am I using this accent? I don't understand. These trade paperbacks are available right now, March 12th. They have all 4 issues from the Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons series. Again, written by Mr. Patrick Rothfuss and Jim Zub. And artist Troy Little, putting them all together. They are amazing. You should not only check these out at various places, so I believe this is kind of the standard paperback that you can get everywhere. Then you can purchase this, which is available only at conventions from IDW. This is the convention exclusive hardcover. Knock on wood, it still exists. You can only get this in conventions from the IDW booth. Beautiful looking and has tons of the amazing artwork, as well as I think each one of the alternate covers that were on the first edition are available there. Then there is this edition, which is only available in GameStop. And I know that because it contains this adventure right here, the Temple of Glorb. This cover, again, hardcover. It's got Tiamat on the cover, fighting Rick and Morty there, which is always a great throwback to folks. This is available only in GameStops. So go into GameStop right now, bang on the door, say, I want my Rick and Morty Szechuan sauce. Also, this book. They might not have the sauce, but they will have this book. And you can play through the adventure. Little note about that adventure. Well, let me tell you about that. Tonight only. Well, tonight only, live tonight only. Satine Phoenix will be dungeon mastering this book from the Han Cholo Studios in this book. She'll be dungeon mastering the adventure in this book, The Temple of Glorb, live tonight. I believe starting at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And it is going to be amazing. So the players are Jason Charles Miller, Christina Ariel, Amy Vorpal, Brandon Schoolhouse, owner of Han Cholo, and it's all being from the Han Cholo Studios down in Los Angeles. So if you're interested in finding out what the Temple of Glorb is all about, or just seeing the amazing Satine Phoenix and those players running through a very funny and irreverent Rick and Morty adventure, The Temple of Glorb, watch tonight if you can, directly after Dice Camera Action wraps up at 6. Sound cool? And then you can go to the GameStop and buy that when you get there. And then I believe this edition is another omnibus edition that is, and I'm going to get it wrong, but I believe this is available in Target. Now I'm getting it wrong. I want to make sure. Of course, they don't say that anywhere on here, but it's another exclusive that you can only get at a specific retailer. You think I should know this at a time, but we literally went through all 5 of these and be like, where can we get this one? Where can we get this one? Where can we get this one? I'll leave it to you. You're going to have to find some of this stuff out on your own. I can't do everything for you. Okay, people? All right. Look for it. It's amazing. I'm excited to read them in omnibus form. I read pages of all of these issues, but I am definitely that comic book consumer that enjoys reading them all in this kind of paperback and or trade format. So I heard a bunch of people in here talking about how that is cool and want to get in here. So now's the time. You don't have any excuse going forward. Jim Zub, as I mentioned, will be here in the office tomorrow. He's doing a whole bunch of fun stuff with you that I can't talk about, but we'll be recording a interview with him for Dragon Talk that won't be on the air. It won't be streamed live, but we'll be recording it here in the office. But you will be able to catch him on Dragon Plus with Bart Carroll starting at 1 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow. So look for that. Adam Lee and potentially Kate Welch will also be joining to talk about that, because Jim, in addition to being a great person and being at Emerald City Comic Con to talk about all of the amazing projects that he is working on, he is going to be playing in a live game from a panel room at Emerald City Comic Con here in Seattle at the Washington State Amazingness, and it's going to be tons of fun. So Kate Welch will be playing in that group. I believe Jim is dungeon mastering, and it is going to rock the house here in Seattle. So that's all of the fun stuff that's happening. Oh my gosh, that coffee is so delicious, and it's giving me the lifeblood to continue to speak to all of you people about both the Dungeons and the Dragons that are happening today. Yes, that's me. You were talking about me wanting to talk about some fun stuff on the Dungeon Masters Guild, and I will be getting to that for sure. But before we do, I want to talk about some fun things that are happening in the press. As always, it's an amazing roundup of so many fun things. Oh, and one thing I want to mention last time before I leave this Rick and Morty awesomeness topic, check this out. I don't know if you saw this. That's it. Amazon bestsellers in fantasy graphic novels. What book appears to be at number one there? What's in the number one area that might be in front of Umbrella Academy, The Adventure Zone, Scott Pilgrim, and a whole bunch of other amazing stuff that's been around for years. Preacher. We're beating Preacher, people, with Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons. That's pretty cool. I love all this. I love all this stuff. But that's currently, that's like right now that's happening. So hopefully with all of you guys talking about that right now, you're going to be like, man, this is so good. All right. Moving on up to the east side. I want to highlight some amazing press. Obviously, we announced Ghost of Saltmarsh. It'll be available May 21st. We had IO9 tell us something like this. Well, the Flying Burritos doesn't have anything to do with us, but they did have this note about the Ghost of Saltmarsh adventure. It incorporates and updates some classic D&D adventures for 5th edition, including several nautical adventures from Dungeon Magazine. That's not necessarily the most effusive pull quote, but it is factually correct. So thanks for IO9 for getting it right. You are good people all around. We also had another kind of roundup thing that Screen Rant was talking about for 10 must-own gifts for the Stranger Things fan in your life. There's a lot of amazing things on here, but it's really cool that you now can recreate the game yourself with this awesome Hasbro Stranger Things Dungeons & Dragons role-playing game starter set. There's a lot of capital letters in that, but you know what I'm talking about. I've pulled out the Stranger Things set here on D&D News before, showed you the components, seeing how it's written from Mike's point of view as a dungeon master. It's pretty amazing. I think Nate and Kate showed it on Spoilers and Swag last Friday while we were at GaryCon. So that's pretty amazing, and you should be excited about it because the actor who plays Mike, Finn Wolfhard, is interested in learning out more about Dungeons & Dragons. Let's just leave it at that. He, along with some other of his cast members, are attending Emerald City Comic Con. I'm just saying, it'd be really cool if they stopped by and got to play some D&D with the people who make it. Let's make it happen, people. I like all of that. So one other fun note. This is wildly inaccurate at this point, oh good, there's no actual numbers on here, but it is pretty amazing what Critical Role is doing right now. I got to see Matt Mercer briefly at GaryCon. I didn't want to leave that area without giving me a hug and congratulating him on all that is happening here. It's past 7 million at this point. The campaign for the Critical Role animated series is now the most funded movies and TV Kickstarter in the history of the fundraising website, having surpassed the campaign that revived Mystery Science Theater 3000. What is going on? I keep saying, people, we're only in like 5 days, 6 days, 7 days at this point. It is going to get even higher than where it is right now. And, it's making D&D related animated and or just series out there a reality, and you are all amazing for contributing to this amazing project. I love that it's ballooned and given the resources to make it even cooler out there. And I just want to give high fives to all y'all for making it happen. Okay, that's all the high fives. You got 5 high fives there. I think I counted it out. Pretty neat, right? Yeah. After that, I got no words. All right. So, gosh. If I could voice anyone in the Critical Role animated show, who would you want to voice? That's a really interesting kind of question. I never really thought of myself as a any kind of voice actor or performer, although I am a voice in the Sirenscape Dragon Heist sound pack. So I don't know, maybe. I'd be crazy humbled for anything that would occur like that. But there is certainly a lot more talented and or union actors out there who probably deserve it more than I do, who are giving it a go. So I defer to those with the talent to be able to make that stuff happen. But I love it. Yeah, and maybe I'll just help Matt out and be like, oh, you should sound like this when you talk when you're a demon. You know, maybe I'll be Vecma. Just throwing it out there. But we'll see all about that. Should be pretty fun. I wanted to highlight a couple other fun stuff that we saw on the web. I love this piece of art. Created by Rakuga Gaku. I'm gonna get it all messed up, but I love Final Fantasy was definitely a huge inspiration for me back when I was a kid. The first Final Fantasy. I haven't gotten into the later ones so much, but this piece of art definitely evoked that for me, and I love that it struck a nerve with the community as well, as a character who has a sword and scabbard that is taller than they are. Fun stuff all around. This one is a funny one. I definitely snickered when I saw this. There's something about trying to get everyone's timing together to make sense for a Dungeons & Dragons session. What is it? What is it about humans and not being able to set their schedules to work? There's been a ton of jokes similar to this out there, but this one just tickled me for sure. All right. Wait, I'm going to do some other stuff. Cool beans. We're at that time where it might be, I've heard today's D&D Rewind might be a little bit longer than it should be. So let's get into some D&D Rewind right about now. I love this portion of D&D news. Thank you again to Steve Sprinkles, the best name in the business, for putting together this amazing recap of best moments, whether they be especially funny or emotional or just showed off some cool role play moments. They're all kind of put together in this D&D Rewind segment. So take a watch. Maybe you'll find some Dungeons & Dragons shows that we highlight here on the D&D Twitch channel that you might want to start watching based on how entertaining these little snippets are. That's kind of the point of all this. So definitely jump in and see what you can do. If you have a moment from a favorite show that you have on our channel that you'd like to highlight, make a clip of it, share it out there. Those clips, as they get more and more views, they definitely rise to the top of ones that we want to highlight here for D&D Rewind. So take a look. Clip whatever you can, and hopefully these will be your inspiration for what's going on here. So let's check it out. This week's D&D Rewind. So if you play D&D now, you go back and do the basic and expert rather than...
I find it especially useful for conventions because I can it's small, it's compact, I can travel, but that's good. But also, when I sit down with a group at a table at a convention with a bunch of people who I've never played with, it's not a regular gaming group, we don't have to spend a lot of time going over like, oh, this is what my character can do and all this. So, you kind of know what your character can do.
That's true.
And people can get right to it right away.
I mean, can anybody else hear me?
No, just me.
Is this thing on?
Are you talking to that horse right now?
I'm talking to this horse right now.
What's he saying?
He doesn't like my driving very much, and it's like we're starting to like I see the path, and it's like
you're going into the grass.
in the grass.
You're going in the grass.
It's okay. I just wanted to tell you though, if things get bad, I need you just to run, okay?
Oh, I'll run.
Okay.
I'll run. Don't
because I want to protect you.
I mean, for fighting is like you're riding. I'll definitely run.
Okay. Can I roll animal handling again?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Let's roll it.
Okay. That is a 15.
Okay, all right. You bring...
do we go to, like, the meeting? Or do we go to the secret clubhouse meeting?
Well, this is the same building.
Yeah. Whoa!
All right. We're going undercover, which means everyone's gonna have to play their role correctly.
So whenever I do like silly role play stuff, I always throw in a bit of meta to it because I'm like a trash goblin. That's what I do. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I would totally also have Vlania in it and just be like, I feel like I know you from a different plane.
I think. Did Satine play Valanya on Dice Camera Action at all? I swear she did.
Maybe she did. It's more that Vlania is the band manager on Sirens of the Realm, so she is Ghost band manager.
Turn in the 1 gold, and I think that what we see before we go to our break is the group of you being lowered personally by Durnan's big ropey arms into the great yawning portal, into the well, to the cheers and excitement and maybe like side bets about how long you're going to last from the assembled crowd. And as you descend, that sound echoes and it slowly fades as you are dropped down into a great deep well and Undermountain beyond.
Now, one of the features that the Artificer had in its previous incarnation was this increasing schedule of I can attune to now an extra item, and yet another item, and yet another item. The playtest feedback we got on that is people were kind of amused by it, but it was not viewed as central to the class, and it also, over the course of the levels, had the potential to create some balance headaches.
Sure.
And we realized, given the number of items that don't require attunement on the replicate magic item list, that it was not actually necessary for the Artificer to have additional attunements.
Such humor from a fire main angel, huh?
Yes, that is what I am.
Surely
I remember it.
She is jesting. Shut up.
And yet, I find the sensation of being a fire main angel to be new and invigorating. Fire in my belly.
I'm going to cast silence on
anger
him.
tempered by
just Azor, just like...
A large dragon head will lean in over your shoulder and say, "Thank you. That was getting annoying." And he will lean back.
So, Thaddeus is he just looks so bad.
Like so good that he's bad, or like what?
I mean, he's undeniably a twunk, but on top of that, it's layers of gross. He's generally sweaty most of the time. He's kind of like weak John, sallow skinned. He's got this situation going on.
You're the Ronto.
That's...
I'm the Pixel.
Fine. You can
Is
only...
Mark your code name? Do I get a code name? What's my code name?
Your code name is...
Billy.
Billy?
But that's his.
No.
It's Billy.
Fine, your code name is Billy, I'm the Ronto, okay?
Amazing stuff all around there. That was so cool. I love all that. What was really striking, other than seeing my face first in those clips, was the difference from all of those visually. I love how each one has a very distinct view and different costumes, different colors. From the Tales of the Mists having that amazing black and white pen and ink art throughout as the through line, to the colorfulness of the Broken Pact ness, to I don't know, just all amazing fun stuff that is happening here on the D&D Twitch channel, and I love every moment of it. So thank you to all of the creators who come and be a part of what's happening here, and we want to definitely start highlighting more and more creators that aren't even just on the D&D channel. So start clipping some of your favorite ones that we don't necessarily know or highlight yet, and hey, who knows, maybe we'll find a new group to highlight, and especially one that comes from groups that that may not get the attention that the rest do. So here at Dungeons and Dragons, and as in the entire community that's online and everywhere else, we like to approach this like we are party members in a D&D group, lifting each other up, bringing our different skills to the table, and making sure that we slay all of the dragons and the demons and the monsters that befall this hobby. And this community is doing a great job of that. So I salute you 400,000%. I hate when I do that. I don't like saying... I had an editor once, who shall remain nameless, who said, don't ever put 110% or 115%. That's just impossible. You can't actually give more than 100%. That's the whole point of 100%. So when you elevate or make hyperbole about more than 100%, you're just diminishing that fact. So I just did it, and I won't do it again. I promise. That's my promise to you, the viewer. So we've got even more fun stuff to talk about here for Adventurers League. Adventurers League is the D&D's official play campaign. There is, which means basically that you can create an Adventurers League character and then take that character to your friendly local game store, a game convention like GaryCon, where I saw a bunch of people playing D&D 5th edition Adventurers League. So shout out to all of you guys who did really well in the Open and the Epics, as well as the individual adventures that were played. It seems like that room, that entire ballroom was full all weekend long, 4 days of gaming, and we're looking to expand all that. So, conventions are a big part of Adventurers League, but it's not the only part. You can play Adventurers League wherever you want and participate in that kind of group play feel. Got some news dropping for Adventurers League. The Undying Threat Trilogy, DDAL 08 through 13, -13 through 15, available today, just came out on the DungeonMastersGuild.com. The adventures are called The Vampire of Skullport, Rescue from Van Rakdoom, and Forge of Fangs. Send level 11, and both these adventures send a level 11 through 16 adventurers into the Shadowfell tainted level of Undermountain. So check out those if you are interested at all. Some fun stuff there, and I want to highlight some amazing fun pictures of people playing Adventurers League at various places around I'm going to make sure I get these right. Thank you for the descriptions in here, Lisa, so I know which picture is which. You are a good person, Lisa Chen, the community manager lead for the admins for the Adventurers League. So doing good work all around. And here are two photos. This one I'll show up first. This one is called... this is from Ontario, Canada. Decode. I'm sorry. It just has Decode on the wall, so that's how I know that this is the right place. It looks like the area is called Adventurers Decode, which is pretty interesting. But here's a photo from an event put on by my friends and I from the UniteTheFactions.com at Decode Adventures in, I'm going to mess up this, Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, back in January. We hosted a day of locally written and DM's Guild published CCCs for 13 hours. That looks like a lot of fun, and I really enjoy the aesthetics of that game store. So yeah, definitely want to check that out if you're in the Ontario, Canada area. Definitely worth checking out. And then here is another photo of some fun Adventurers League play. This is a cool looking store too. This photo is from Pack Rat Comics in Ohio. Pack Rat Comics is a great comic/game store that has been around for 25 years. Wow, that's awesome. They received the Will Eisner Spirit of Comics Award at the San Diego Comic-Con, and since they are based in Hilliard, Ohio, I think that's pretty cool. The owners, Teresa and Jamie, are some of the nicest people you'll ever meet, and when I proposed starting up a D&D Adventurers League at the store, they jumped at giving me the opportunity to organize awesome D&D events. We are on our 4th week and still going strong. Wow, that's super cool. Thank you for highlighting those amazing photos. If you want to send in photos of your Adventurers League group to potentially be highlighted here on D&D News, you can do that. You can do that by sending them to community@dndadventurersleague.org. That's an email. Shout it out. Do a little blurb about what's going on in your friendly local game store, what state, what country, whatever information you feel safe sharing, and hey, I might just talk about them live here on D&D News at some point. So good stuff all around there. I love it. And then I want to move on to some fun Dungeon Masters Guild news. Gosh, there's a lot of fun stuff going on here. So Dungeon Masters Guild, just in case you don't know what it is the place that lets you publish your Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition creations for fun and profit. It's the only platform where you can publish adventures and supplements within the Forgotten Realms, Ravenloft, Ravnica, and other Wizards intellectual properties. And it's pretty amazing the amount of creative arts that are on display for all of the products that are up on Dungeon Masters Guild. But I wanted to highlight 2 of them here. The first one is the Volume 1 of the Uncaged anthology, which I think is awesome. Here's a little blurb about Uncaged. I mean, how great is that art? That Medusa is spot on, people. Whew! Man, I want to play that, sight unseen about anything about what else is going on. So kudos to the artist there. And I'm scanning here to see if there is any. I'm not sure who exactly, but there's a lot of artists here in this thing, but I'm not sure exactly who did this. So maybe someone can. Oh, Samantha Darcy. Samantha Darcy. I love her work, and I can't believe how amazing this is. So let me tell you about what it is about. So even though I know you all already bought this just based on this cover, but let me tell you, every creature in the multiverse has a story to tell, even the monsters. Uncaged is a collection of myth and folklore-themed adventures written for D&D 5th edition. Each original adventure subverts tropes around a female mythological creature or monster, including hags, harpies, medusas, and much, much more. Tons of amazing work in this volume, including work from creators like Kat Kruger, Kayla Klein, Jen Vaughn, Lisa Chen, and so many more. This is available now, and let me focus on me as I say this, because you might think like, oh, that's going to be some adventures. How cool is that? This is a 238-page full-color PDF, and it will be out as a hardcover book pretty soon. Holy crap. That's a lot of pages, and that's a lot of content, and I can't wait for more and more people to check that out. Again, just really good-looking stuff. And here's some more artwork and some of the like a 2-page spreads of what's like in that thing. Oh, I like how the one on the left there is supposed to be a tablet viewing Uncaged in PDF form. All of the pages. Ashley Warlock is here in the chat. She's saying it was a lot of patience to design. Whoo! I bet, man. Doing layout for a 238-page anything is a major challenge, and kudos to you for coming through that. I'm alive enough to be able to type in the chat window. So everybody give a shout out to Ashley Warlock for that. Deliciousness. I say that after every time I take a sip. Yeah, now you have to do 3 more volumes. So success begets more work. Watch out for it. Oh man, see, I don't think I have any artwork for this. But I want to tell you about it anyway. A Zib for Your Thoughts is an introductory adventure that is available on Dungeon Masters Guild right now. It is by Wizards of the Coast for the Ravnica setting. It's now available. And there's a whole bundle of really awesome Ravnica-themed content that is available for 48% off the combined cover price of what all of these are. So that's why there's all these different pieces of covers here. So some of that is the Spectrum of Magic, Ravnica Races Expanded by Core Artificer, as well as The Experiments of Dr. Skulldial by Jen Vaughn. This was based, I believe, based on previous D&D news segments. This is based on Jen's adventure that she ran for the Podcast of Ravnica series that is now currently available on Dungeon Delve podcast feed. I was going to say theme, but it's not theme, it's a feed. It's an RSS feed where you download podcasts. So if you're interested in finding out, there's an episode for each one of the guilds of Ravnica that were featured in Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, which is a Dungeons & Dragons product that talks about all of the fun ways to roleplay in the world of Ravnica, which is from the Magic the Gathering IP. I've consumed a lot of caffeine, so that's why that came out so fast. But kudos to that, and you should check out these bundles if you're interested in getting any of that content out there. All right, man, that was a lot. We are getting ready for Dice Camera Action, episode 143. No, sorry, 133. I was like, 44. I don't think we're up into the 40s yet. The episode is called The Sky is Falling, Part 1. It has all the Waffle crew, as well as 2 guests, Brooks Donahue coming back as Sister Neray, and Vivid Vivka reprising her role as the noble Esvel Rosvanar, which you might maybe know as a different name, perhaps available in Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms, which is a fantastic video game. Let me tell you about it. It's a fantastic video game, and I'm going to tell you all about it. You can play Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms on your iOS or Android tablet. You can play it on the Xbox One or the PS4, or you can play it on Steam. It is a way to send people out on adventures. They kill monsters, they collect loot, they get experience points for all of their troubles. And when I say people, you send adventurers out, and they are adventurers that you may recognize from all types of Dungeons & Dragons story and lore and streaming games. As I said, the Black Viper is one of those characters that you can currently, I believe, still, maybe not right now, but you can unlock. There's also tons of great characters including Arkin the Cruel, which was Joe Manganiello's character from Force Grey. Many of the characters in Force Grey are available. Hitch, God, why am I blanking on the name of the Barbarian? Satine Phoenix character from Silence of the Realms is on there. Many of the Waffle crew, I believe 3 out of the 4, looking at you, Nate, are available as well. So you can recruit them into your party, move them around in an optimal, strategic way, and send them out on adventures to collect all of that fun loot. It all happens real time, but is super fun. And as Lauren Obo Crazy says, she's playing it right now and most of the week, which is awesome. One thing I want to make sure to highlight, because I saw Matt Forbeck at Gary Con. I didn't get a chance to he was in deep conversation. I didn't want to interrupt him, but I wanted to give him a high five for the amazing Endless Quest books that he wrote and were published last year. There's 4 of them. They are a Pick Your Path series for young readers. And they allow you to kind of weave through tales of Dungeons & Dragons lore. There were 4 that were out. There's 2 more coming, and they are on Amazon right now for pre-order. The new ones that are coming out this summer are called Escape from Castle Ravenloft, which is a cleric adventure. You must escape Strahd's lair before you are doomed to remain there forever. And then the Mad Mage's Academy, which is a rogue adventure. You get to play as a rogue, and you must steal the spellbook of Halaster Blackcloak from inside the halls of his Magic Academy beneath Waterdeep. Bum, bum, bum. So cool. I just was talking to one of my friends last night who has an 8-year-old son, and he whipped through those 4 Pick Your Path books, and I let him know that there's new ones coming out, and he was super psyched to get those for his son. I love them. I love reading them with my daughter, and you should check them out if you can, and pre-order them on Wizards. But I also wanted to highlight some other fun stuff that is occurring, including, I mentioned, let me get to this so that you can see the covers again. So Ghosts of Saltmarsh, that's the next book coming out from Dungeons & Dragons. It will be available on May 21st. But our friends at Beadle & Grimm, Beadle & Grimm's Pandemonium Warehouse, that's the full name of their company, are creating a Sinister Silver Edition for Ghosts of Saltmarsh. It'll have 12 plus in-world documents and letters, battle maps that you can use, including a reusable ship map, 2 more large battle maps, and 1 around a certain ship that has parts of the title in its name. I don't know why I don't want to spoil that for some reason, but Kate Welch didn't want to spoil it when we were talking to her for the podcast, and I don't want to do it here. There's also a large area map around all of Saltmarsh, 30 encounter cards, which are fantastic, and 2 physical in-world jewelry items created by Han Cholo to hand out to your players, a custom DM screen, plus 12 bonus encounters and characters. One bit about the encounter cards, just so you guys are aware, these are fantastic, and I want more people to adopt the use of these. They essentially are, big tents that you can put on your DM screen, which is nothing new. People have been doing that for years and years and years. But on the way that Beadle & Grimm's make these is on the front, that's visible to your players, is just the artwork for the creature or monster or NPC that they are encountering. So it's a great way to just be like, hey, here's the visuals. And then on the back, the part of the tent that's just facing the Dungeon Master is all of the statistics, background information, and any story bits that you might need to run that monster. It's a great idea. I want more people to be figuring it out because it's amazing. And you can get those. Looks like there's going to be 30 of them here for Beadle & Grimm's Pandemonium Warehouse. Sinister Silver Edition of Ghosts of Saltmarsh. And I don't want to speak out of turn here, but I have a pretty good account that this will ship within 3, maybe even 2 weeks of when the adventure comes out. So May 21st is when you'll be able to buy Ghosts of Saltmarsh anywhere. Again, you'll be able to get it in these 2 covers. One is the standard cover, the one on the left there, and then that's going to be available everywhere, including game stores. And then the one on the right is a special alternate cover that you can only get in game stores of the Sahuagin there. It's got kind of a shiny metallic feel to some of the artwork, and it's pretty scary looking. That Sahuagin is not nice, if you can say that. Another fun thing that I want to make sure everybody is aware of, we'll be talking to Jim Zub about this tomorrow and maybe even after Dice Camera Action. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, we'll be talking about this tomorrow on Dragon Plus when Bart Carroll is speaking to him. Jim is creating 4 books called the Dungeons & Dragons Young Adventurer's Guide series. They are coming from 10 Speed Press, the same folks who made the Art and Arcana books that knocked the visual history of Dungeons & Dragons out of the water. You'll be able to check these out, and they're designed for ages 8 through 12. These books are called Monsters and Creatures, Warriors and Weapons, Dungeons and Tombs, Wizards and Spells. The first 2, and here I want to show you what you might be able to see these look like here. There you go. So this is Jim's blog, Jim Zub's website. This is where he talks about, but this is what the covers look like for Monsters and Creatures and Warriors and Weapons. And the whole goal for these books is a way to introduce concepts of Dungeons and Dragons to young readers, full of extremely evocative artwork, and allowing people to feel like they're a part of the Dungeons & Dragons world without needing to go full bore into reading the Player's Handbook, the Dungeon Master's Guide, and the Monstrous Manual, trying to figure out how to play the game. This is just about like getting people on board and how they can try to figure out what some of these things are all about. Basically, little taste to get young readers interested. Again, it's designed for those reading ages 8 to 12. Hopefully they will then graduate to picking up a starter set or a player's handbook and jumping in and playing as much as they can. But I'm really excited about these. Those are the 2 covers that have been announced. Those first two books will be available on July 16th, 2019, which is awesome. And it's all new artwork. I think that's pretty important to note. They've done some stuff like this with pickup art from old books, but this is all completely new artwork that will be in these books. Then the covers, are some of those right there. So look for them, July 16th, 2019, and then later on this fall is when Dungeons and Tombs and Wizards and Spells will be coming this year. So exciting stuff all around there. If you're going to be watching Dragon Plus tomorrow with Jim Zub and Bart Carroll at 1 p.m. Pacific time, maybe you'll ask a little bit about that. There's also Dungeons & Dragons: A Darkened Wish. This one, actually, I think there's an actual release date for Darkened Wish. So let me try and pull that up so that you know what it is. Oh, come on, Schwartz. I think a release date was finally announced, but I'm very excited about this as well. Here, let me just give you a quick shot of this piece of artwork. It is a amazing piece of writing by B. Dave Walters, who you may recognize from the Off the Table sessions from the Stream of Many Eyes, as well as many of his things going on at Geek and Sundry, and Tess Fowler, who is an amazing artist, arted all this up, and I love this piece of artwork down here. That is the cover for the first issue. Exciting stuff. I don't have the exact release date kind of right here on me, but I'm pretty sure it's coming very, very soon. So look here for when I get that actual release date, and I'll sort it out there. Love it. I love everything that they're doing. Ooh, and Lee Goldberg got to read A Darkened Wish. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. That's good stuff. Some fun things I want to highlight. I don't think I'm going to be able to go through the whole streaming schedule as we get ready for episode 133 of Dice Camera Action popping off very soon. Stick around afterwards at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Satine Phoenix is running through the adventure that's in the Rick and Morty special edition that's only available in GameStop. The adventure is called... Here, I'm going to make sure I get it right. The Temple of Glorb, which is awesome. Temple of Glorb. Fantastic. Written by Adam Lee here on the D&D team. So stick around here on the D&D Twitch channel right after to watch that. Daylight savings is a thing, so our international folks, I'm so sorry. We, you're going to have some hours that are off and on of things that are going on there too. But that is what is happening. Tomorrow, check out Jace Beleren Must Die, Roll20 Presents. Hopefully, Dungeon Master Adam Coble has recovered from his root canal that he just got. I was just seeing that on Twitter, so... Adam, I hope you're feeling better and you're ready to play tomorrow. If not, I'm sure we'll run a vodcast and get back up in the, we want to get better. Jim Zub will be on Dragon Plus at 1 p.m. tomorrow. Heroes of the Veil is coming at you at 2 p.m. Pacific time, and then Acquisitions Incorporated C-Team at 4 with amazing fun stuff. The D&D Beyond Dev update is going on with Adam Bradford at 9 a.m. Pacific time on Thursday. Idle Champions at 1 p.m. Welch's Game Juice is going on strong with Baldur's Gate 2, the Enhanced Edition. Kate Welch has been doing an amazing job playing through and talking all about what's going on there. And then we're hosting Critical Role at 7 p.m. Pacific time on Thursday. We'll be doing an awesome Dragon Talk episode on Friday with Shelly and I back in the office, and we'll be talking to Arnie Niekamp from Hello from the Magic Tavern. So that should be a fantastic interview. I can't wait for that. And then we'll follow it up with Lore You Should Know, I believe happening on Friday, but now I'm thinking it's actually Sage Advice, which should also be really fun. Good stuff all around. You are all fantastic. I am going to throw it to the amazing Chris Perkins, who's going to start us off with Dice Camera Action episode 133, The Sky is Falling, part 1. Bye, everybody. Follow me on Twitter. I'm at Greg Tito. And that's been D&D News. We'll see you later. Bye.